Alright, trying something a little different. So I went on poll on 4chan. Poll on 4chan. And I posted a picture of some shitty land in the desert northern Arizona that miles from anything and dried up and nothing there. And a listing to a land sale site to show that land like that was available and the price. And I said, if someone gifted you this piece of shit acre in the middle of nowhere, but it had a working well, what would you do with it? And I'm gonna answer some of these questions and offer some comment, and I'm gonna try to upload this and throw it back on the thread before it expires in an effort to have fun and also address any of the questions or maybe collaborate with a couple of these funny guys. Alright, so the first guy said nothing, it's useless. And then next guy said jerk off into the well water, take that losers. Next guy says there are better deals than that, but you could mine crypto with solar. Get a part-time job somewhere you could sustain yourself, set up in a tent, and pay like $2 a year in property tax. I like that. You see, the whole story is that I have a motorhome. Think Eagle 5 in Spaceballs, and that's better than a tent. And that property, I don't know about that one. I don't think it has a well on it, but I've been looking all over northern Arizona because that's where I'm originally from. And I kind of want to stay here for like family and sentimental reasons, and I think there's something to staying in proximity to the area that you're born to, and you can get some kind of power from it. I don't know. But up there, I looked at the well maps and the water tables, and you can go to any county's registry's website and you can look up, like, say you browse on a website and you go, oh, look at this cute little old piece of property I'm thinking about buying, but it don't have no water. Well, then you go on to the county website and you just look at the map and you punch that address in and you zoom out just a little bit and you can see everybody in the area that does have a well. And if they have a well, then they have access to the same water table most likely that you do, because if you zoom far enough out, you'll start to see like underwater lakes represented by well positions. And so then you'll also know, because they have to register these silly things, how deep down the well is, which means how deep down you would have to dig and pipe for your own well. And I'm telling you right now, most of northern Arizona has water underneath it. It shocked me to find this out, and it's not a bigger deal than this. And then the second half of that shock was seeing these young fellas on the internet that are digging wells with hydropneumatic setups, where the thing is run by I want to say a water pump. Yeah, it's run by a water pump with an air line run down the middle of it, and the water's evacuating everything back up the line, and the pneumatic, if it has any kind of carbide or diamond or reinforced steel tip or something, it'll cut through anything it finds along the way. You just got to be patient, and there's techniques involved. There's a learning curve. But one thing I know about northern Arizona is caliche, which is super hard clay, and a drill really wouldn't have a problem with that. But that means you have a surplus of a building material. And I thought, yeah, I know what it is. I saw 130 something degrees when I was a kid up in that area, and I know that anything over like 105, 110 is unbearable, and it's over 115, 120 there all the time. But then I think about you know, some of it's brought up here in the poll listing here. Um, it's in the desert for a reason. You can't do anything. Rent it out for motocross. An acre is about the size of a football field. Maybe you could irrigate it and play football. 1 acre not worth it. 20 acres. Build greenhouses and grow the world's hottest peppers in the desert and market it to faggot Zoomers as such. That's a very smart idea, actually. Because what I was thinking with greenhousing was, if this is just me or a labor of guys just doing it in our spare time, then it's just shovels, right? And so instead of building up, build down. And instead of building roofs and floors, reinforce the dirt after you dig down and then put a greenhouse ceiling in. And then as you walk the perimeter of whatever thing that you've built, it's covered by a ceiling of windows, probably from like recycled shower doors or recycled glass from windshields in mosaic. You know, if you can get paid to do it because you're cleaning up like a toxic spill due to the environmental agency, or like a write-off because you're disposing of recycling for thrift building or something, then you don't have to worry about money. Might actually get some. But now that everything is sub-level, what is that word? Subterranean. You're going to have a lot cooler temperatures and a lot easier time managing moisture loss. And then for the stuff that you want to keep up, because you do want to build shade out in that area. I'm talking long term. I'm not talking about making money and flipping this or whatever. I looked at this like to live the rest of my life on. And so there's a lot of towns all over, I've noticed, that are doing this thing where if you go to the dump on a certain day, they offer free mulch. And a lot of these municipalities, they treat it so that it's not filled with parasites or funky shit. And they'll let you take as much as you can carry out there with you. And like I said, if this is a long-term thing, they're filling up an acre of mulch is just time. You know, yeah, gas or whatever, however you want to transport it. But it's just time. There's a guy did it in Tempe at a property. He raised his landscape like 10 inches pure mulch all the way over the whole thing. He's growing tropical plants from all the rainforests all over the world, every kind of exotic fruit and vegetable. He has a lot of followers. Don't ask me his name, but he's not hard to find. Cheaper to buy an acre on the moon and there's no Mexicans. Yes, but the commute is brutal. Don't post my house on there. Mine crypto with solar. That's a pretty good idea. I think so. I wanted to go pure Robinson. What is it? Swiss Family Robinson. And everything out of wood and rocks and coconuts and all of that. But I guess if you look at money as a tool and not as a necessity or a lifeblood, but as something a resource that you can pile up, then mining crypto with solar panels in the fucking northern Arizona desert is brilliant. Especially if you're going to keep underground the server farm where you don't have the windows over that and you have a moisture barrier, so now you have a cave for computers, and there you go. And solar farming in the Mojave, please, dude, you'd never have a problem with that. So here we go. Here's the attitude. Rehabilitate the soil with access to organic material. Shade netting would be needed if you want to grow anything. Hydroponics might work, but you'd need to be importing nutrients or have to start mucking about with aquaponics with the same problem a bit further down the road. Now, I've looked at those, And I think very highly of clay medium. You do not need soil to grow plants. They can get nutrients out of pure water and moisture. I've seen a lot of setups where the sapling or this whatever is started in a non-organic container, either plastic or styrofoam or clay pellets or rocks, or what's some of the stuff that they use, the volcanic ash rock, or sometimes it's just cosmetic. But a drift of water goes, or a drop of a rain of water or a mist of water sprays up, and the plant is getting its nutrients from that. And so building gardens in pipes along walls stacked on top of each other in movable stages, in floating ponds that are covered, all very accessible. And then that means you're having water conservation and temperature control at your fingertips. If this thing stays shaded because it's underground all the time, and then it's tapped into drafts moving that you've planted tubes in, then you're going to be constantly cooling this area down far below ambient temperatures all the time. Temperature control underground is not a problem. Let me see. Keep a hole, and then get a whore with a bag of meth. Sounds about right. I would cover it with a large tent and pour an absurd amount of water, yard waste, and food waste until I start getting some weeds growing up. And then you're terraforming. Pomegranates, figs, grapes, plums, peaches, nectarines, apricots, oranges, limes, lemons, grapefruits, cherries. You can grow tons as long as you have a source of water. Yes, and mulch, and shade, and protection from bugs, and grow weed. I would dig and build a house underground for starters. You see, there you go. If I dig down and park my motorhome underneath it and then burrow out so that I have a view out and I'm not just in some little fucking grave, then behind me is fully insulated, and then I can burrow out the other ends and then have a view, or I can insulate those ends. And then if I do like a hobbit hole where I build some kind of structure over the roof of my motorhome and then move mulch and topsoil over there, then I have that's more growing room above me and shade and protection from the elements. And water collection. It says if you have a well, then you should bottle it and sell it to the California retards for $5 a bottle. I think somebody beat me to it. Nestle. Fuck off, we're full. I get that sentiment, but I am an Arizona native and I still live in Arizona, and I would be moving within the state, but I get the sentiment, I do. Build a solar farm and bunker. Something like Cody's lab Mars base experiment. I have to look that up. Build a Holocaust memorial. Tax deductible. Move to Montana or Idaho. It'll be more expensive, but the desert is worthless, even as a place to flee if shit hits the fan. The Arizona desert to me looks a lot like the Afghanistan desert and the Iraq desert and the I think that if you can make it in northern Arizona, you can make it just about anywhere. And I think that should be the goal. If you think you're a big dog because you can make it in a hotel, then whatever. But isn't it the true test to go to the barren places, the hard places, the unforgiving places, and prove that you can make it? Isn't that where the value lies? Pioneering, endeavoring. I think so. That's my opinion. Flood the place and then sell it as beachfront property. Put moisture catchers up to collect humidity right out of the air and start landscaping it. Or cook meth. Yeah, those moisture capture nets in, like, I've seen them using in Africa, in the Middle East. It seems throttled to me. It seems too stationary. I don't know. It seems smart in principle, but I think that there's got to be a better way to execute it. The desert has one advantage, and that's solar. That's right. That's why I think the crypto farming with solar is, like, I think that is the next self-made occupation right there. I maybe have missed the bus or something because I was out of the loop for crypto and all this stuff, but as I'm getting back in touch, it seems like crypto's sticking around. Stage a Mars landing. Yeah, you notice how the desert where, like, Jesus was and the moon and Mars all kind of look the same. Rocky wasteland. That's the same as northern Arizona. There are a bunch of other places like that too, but especially where they staged, where the also Nevada Area 51 is Rocky Desert, and Roswell Rocky Desert. Like, just an observation. Wind barriers, solar panels, farm some potatoes. I've tried growing potatoes in the desert. They're easier to grow in Ireland. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it does take a lot of work out here. Aquaponic greenhouses, especially the moisture deficit, will switch back to the moisture surplus, if you say so. I hate the heat. You wouldn't catch me in the desert. Good for you. Make a homestead. Faggots who say it's useless never have lived in the desert and probably even been to it. I appreciate where you're coming from. Yes. Because don't act like people don't already fucking live. I lived in the desert my whole life. When I was a kid on the news, I remember the biggest reason people were going to the hospital was because they were walking around barefoot outside. The sidewalk got so hot in the town that I was in northern Arizona that it blistered people's feet, and the news anchor come on and he emptied out a soda pop and he put the empty can on the sidewalk, cracked an egg, and in the cup of the bottom of the can the fucking egg fried. It's that hot that far off the ground because it was permeating from the asphalt. My God. But I grew up there, man. If maybe it melted my brain, great, but that kind of extreme hot desert temperature isn't on Mars. It's here on Earth, and people live there, and I think that we can and have survived there. Hopi potatoes. Chilote. Normal potatoes will do poorly, if you say so. Subsistence farming, mostly veg and maybe some chickens, rabbits, a goat at a push. Barely enough crops to feed a growing family of 5. You got to think three-dimensionally, up, down. Slightly better yields, and like I said, absence of soil. If you think vertically and you eliminate soil as a component, your growing options really skyrocket. At that size, you could definitely have a goat, some sheep, some fowl, herbs, a tree line. Somebody's describing their dream. That's sweet. Trade with the neighbors for shit that they grow. Yes. Except, what neighbors, right? I want to have to ride a burro to go meet my neighbors. I want to have to pack a 3-day bag to go visit my neighbors and load their long rifle, you know. Tithing, yeah, I got you. Goats would strip a garden. I'm sure they would. Target practicing, and it'd make for sweet bike jumps. Solar farm with self-sustained crypto mining rig and a prefab modular home with good AC and internet access. landscaping and trying to bring some life would be a fun challenge. There you go. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. Fuck yeah, right? Right? If a bunch of people did it together, it'd be like fucking camp. It'd be a party. Set up a shack and then go prospecting on the public lands for minerals. It's like something my granddad would do. Brag about making 6 figures. Blah, blah, blah. Who would... I would start a vaguely Native American spiritual retreat. Get them permits for that peyote and the cybacillins and all that stuff. Plot a course to inner Earth. That's some real forward thinking. That's some next level shit. Don't move here. My crack whore felon neighbor called the cops on my wife, yelling at me. My wife never accused me of doing anything. I spent a week in jail. While I was there, my wife signed a paper asking the prosecutor to dismiss charges. Is this going to turn into a Rickroll? When I went to the judge, it got me released. A mandatory restraining order removed. I went to the pretrial conference expecting to do this dismissed. Instead, apparently I'm being threatened with a felony. I'm beginning to think I'm in hell. I don't know what thread you think you're on, fella. But good luck. God bless. Everything will work out, and everything happens for a reason. I don't know how long this video's going. 20 minutes already. I should do this as a live stream, I think. What do you guys think? I'm going to cut it right there. Should I do live streams? I think I'm almost at 50 subscribers. I was going to ask that in the video. If you think that you'd like to do an AMA or a poll review or, I don't know, a movie night or something, hit me up in the comments, huh? I'm going to keep reading this, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. God bless. Take care.